everyone. Today, please welcome my beautiful guest, Jehan Marbin from Germany. Where are you based?
Well, actually, recently I've moved from Berlin to a smaller city in Germany because Berlin is very a bit stressy, the city. So I've moved to a smaller
See, I,
city.
I used to live in Berlin, and I don't think Berlin is stressful compared to other cities like London or Mumbai or Paris or other. It's quite a chill city, but it is a big city. So
Yes.
I'm gonna guess. Are you in Leipzig or are you somewhere else? I don't know where you are, so you tell us. Well, you don't have to tell us, but
Well, actually, I've moved back to my hometown, which is a university city
oh,
in
okay.
the south of Germany. So nobody knows the city, and um, I'm actually moved to the mountains, so I have more the nature around me. And
That's
this was the
beautiful.
problem with Berlin. It was very stressful, and I'm working from home. I need to have a good life work balance, so that's why I've moved away. And by the way, uh, Berlin is very famous for being in the line of in astrocartography in the line of Aquarius. It has a lot of Aquarius energy.
Really? So
So
When I lived in
yeah,
Berlin, it has lots of energies. There's a lot of dark energies I find for Berlin
yeah,
because of all the
absolutely,
Holocaust and the wars, and the way it manifests is in a lot of distortion. For me, like distorted sexuality. There's distorted. I don't know how you experienced it, but I experienced a lot of racism in Germany. Um,
absolutely, yes.
but we can talk about that. So, were you born in Germany?
Actually, I have been born in 1984 in a refugee camp in south of Germany. Again, a little city. Again, up on a mountain, and in a small hospital. And my parents had been refugees from Iraq, so we were the first Iraqis in Germany.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. And where in Iraq are you originally from?
From the north, we are Kurdish people.
Kurdish people who are also
Yeah.
discriminated. So, do you have a
Yes,
background in spirituality? Like, are your ancestors spiritual or anything?
yes, indeed. I think my grandmother from my father's side has been psychic. She um, she was one of the first ladies in her family who got divorced and married a Christian man because she was obviously a Sunni Muslim and she married a Christian man. And this was like a scandal at that time.
Hmm.
And by the way, he encouraged her to fight for women's rights
In Iraq.
in Iraq at that time. And yeah, the drama happened when overnight Iraq has become a dictator under a dictatorship of Saddam Hussein. And then my grandfather unfortunately got killed. And yeah, because he was,
Christian.
an activist and he was working with other people on the underground for human rights. And yeah, as a Kurdish woman who doesn't speak Arabic so well, my grandmother got into prison, and this is where my father has been born. This is
Wow.
my story
So you know,
from my family.
your grandfather was Iraqi Christian,
Yes,
right? And then basically, obviously, your grandmother was Kurdish, and she had psychic abilities. Then your father was born. Do you classify yourself as a psychic? For all of our audience, are you a psychic?
indeed, I always thought maybe I'm psychic, but I was not sure. But after I've met my twin flame, my psychic abilities increased so much. So I think, yeah, that most definitely I'm psychic also.
So do you work as a so for all the people watching today, we're having obviously your introduction, your background. So what services do you provide, and where can people reach out to you? I'll put all the links in the description. Don't worry, but yeah.
Well, it's funny because when I was younger, I intuitively was searching for a job in the social field, and that's why I became a teacher, and then I became a social worker, and then I became a coach. And then the pandemic hits, and we were forced to either take the vaccination or not. And this was the time where I've met my twin flame. And yeah, and then again, drama happened, a lot of drama in my life. And this was the moment where I had to decide if I'm going to be a 5D coach, which I am right now full time, and it works, or if I lie to myself and work for the system, because obviously as an educationalist I have to work for the system, right?
Mm-hmm.
For the 3D. So I was thinking about that, and I asked my spirit team, my spirit guides, and they told me you have no other chance but to you know to live your higher self, and that's why you have to do the job full time. And now I feel so much better because everything is now in alignment. My apartment, my job, everything but the union with my twin flame.
We will talk about your twin flame.
Yeah.
So let's talk about first, obviously, your background and what you do. I want to understand, what is a 5D coach for those who don't understand. You talked about 3D, 5D. What is all this?
Well, after my spiritual awakening, I saw behind the veil, right, all the lies, and that people get oppressed, and that we cannot live how we want to live. We are conditioned, we are programmed, and that's why the most of the people are suffering as soon as they realize that they have lived a lie. And there are so many out there, and I think the pandemic um, was indeed a terrible phase of life for everyone, but it also did something to us. It was like the apocalypse. It was like teaching us that that everything is a lie, everything is matrix. And then we found out, many people found out that your life can end soon. So that's why you have to
Live.
consider if
You
you,
have to live.
yeah,
Yes.
how you live, if you live truthfully, if you're happy in your job, if you're happy in your marriage, if you're happy with your family. And I think all the masks of the people fell, and that's why they need coaching a lot. And they are also so thankful and happy that there is a coach out there who's also a twin flame.
Yes, which, like, as a twin flame myself, like, if you work with people who are not twin flames, they don't understand it. They don't
No,
get it.
absolutely not.
They think you're crazy. Okay, they
Yes.
can't read the energy either. Normal psychics cannot. So you're a 5D coach. What is
Mm.
3D? What is 5D? And what do you do?
Yes, before I was a 5D coach, I was an educationalist. I was also a systemic and psychological coach
Okay.
by degree. And I did some job coaching, or people had problems with their psyche, so that's why they were seeking for help. And I always had a boss, and I remember that it was very problematic for me um, to work with the authority over me.
Yeah.
And now I found out why, because it seems like that I'm in indigo star seed, and yeah, and
Indigo
they
star seed.
hate.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, they want to live a truthful life. Even as a little child, I always remembered my parents not to lie, to tell me the truth. And I told them I don't like this uncle, I don't like this aunt, because do you know why? The war has a side effect. Most of my family, unfortunately, my uncles and aunties are narcissistic, and due to the trauma, they have the worst. I think this is the vulnerable narcissism, which means they always complain, they always feel lack, they always feel that they're not good enough, they always seek for help. And that was exhausting. And I saw that my parents were suffering a lot. They helped so many other Iraqis, so many Kurdish people, and they have been misused many times. And I was a witness, and I told my parents when I was 8 or 7 and 6, I told my parents, this person is not good. This person is not good. This person will cheat on you and this and that. And so, you know, I was always alone. I was introvert. Sometimes I was bullied in school, even especially when I went to the high school, because as higher you get with your degrees, um, the racism kicks in.
Yeah,
Let me just be straight honest with you, especially here in Germany.
yeah, it's interesting. In Germany, they call you Auslander, right, which means foreigner.
Mm,
So
yes,
For Germans, you know, this is my experience. You can tell me if it's your experience and my friend's experience. You know, even if you're born in German, even if your mother is German, but your father is something else, but you never met your father, you don't know your father, but you only met your white mother. But because you are mixed, you are Auslander. So for
yes,
Germans, you have to be completely 100% white to be German, and your blood has to be, they say, pure or whatever. Whereas in the UK, if you're born in England, you are British. It's different.
yeah, yeah. I was lucky that I experienced 6 months when I came to England for 6 months an undergrad course in at the University of Nottingham. And I remember that everyone treated me normally. And I was like, okay, so you're German. Yes, I'm German. Oh, nobody asked me, oh, where are you originally come from or something. So
This is,
everyone
oh
was
my God, this is
nice.
the question they always ask you. Like, I remember being in Germany, they're like, where are you from? I'm from England. And they're like, no, where are you really from? And then
Yes.
they want to know this story. They think you're like a snake charming desert boy. And then they'll always say to me, make me Indian food or do this for me or do that.
Yes.
And
Yeah.
they fetishize. I don't know. It's kind of a, I don't know. I was traumatized. When I lived in Germany, I went into severe depression.
Yeah. Yeah. That's why I think when I've met my twin flame, it was almost 3 years ago. Soon we will hit the 3 years. Um, I was planning to move abroad, and actually I applied at the university in at the German schools in different countries and also in Egypt. I don't know. It was a crazy idea because the pandemic was there, and I didn't saw a future for me as a teacher in Germany. And so I went to Egypt and I had a job interview over there, but the salary is very bad. So,
Yeah,
and also as a single woman, you cannot live there.
safely.
Why? Yeah, because there are so many men and only the men are working. And when you have to take the taxi or something, they look at you like like you're not normal because you're a single woman, you're good looking and you're not married.
Hmm.
So that's why I had to skip the plan to go somewhere in a nice country where the sun is shining and where I work as a teacher because I was also scared as a woman to go alone. And then yeah, I was then spending time on a dating app, which was Bumble. It's
Okay,
very common
I
in
heard
Berlin.
I heard Bumble is really good.
Yes.
I've never been
Do
on
you
it.
know why? Because it gives the woman the right to text first if she
Okay.
has a match. So I saw this young man with a profile only, he wrote, I think, only his age, not the city where he's coming from. And since, they call Berlin multiculti, that means there are so many different ethnicities there.
Multicultural, yeah.
Yeah.
Apparently, until you come to England, honey, multiculti is England, okay, the
Yes,
UK.
but
And
Germany also, now it's there
yeah,
are more and more immigrants coming. And so I saw this young man, he was obviously African. And I thought, okay, this is since my parents had also to live in Iran, they speak Persian and Arabic and Kurdish with a lot of different dialects. So I was uh, always in the Middle Eastern community, and since my mom is the only one practicing a religion at home, which is Shia Islam, my mom is Shia. She taught me how to pray, how to recite the Quran, and this was her duty also as a Muslim mother. And I accepted Islam for myself, and I saw this young man, and I thought, okay, now, oh, okay, now you had Iranian. karmic ex, and now you're going to this one, obviously an African. And I said no, but I gave him because
So
I thought he's
did your
cute.
did your family expect you to marry a Kurdish man?
I think, as every Middle Eastern family, they like to see me with someone from my background, or maybe because they speak so many languages, they would like to see me with an Iranian, or maybe an Afghan. They also speak Farsi, or an Arab, and Arab is widespread. You can take like my sister, she was married with a Lebanese. So in Berlin, you have so many Lebanese, Palestinian people. You have so many Iraqis as well. So why should I take someone else? This is also what I was programmed. And then I just gave him a like because I thought, yeah, he's cute. And
So which country is he from?
he's Nigerian.
And he's born in Germany?
No, he was born in Nigeria.
Okay.
And he was actually not in Berlin. He was in Istanbul.
Okay.
Yes,
So
it's a very crazy story.
your bumble went really far, far away.
Yes, I think, I don't know how he made it. I think this is the I think if you pay for the app, you can date everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah, you have to pay for it, so it's the pro version, and then you can date everywhere. So of course, I was talking to him, and then he he sounded very nice, very friendly, very polite. And he gave me a lot of compliments for my appearance. And he said, "Oh, you're a very intelligent woman. I saw that you are having a Master of Arts." And so we talked a little bit. And I remember I was somehow, it was a weird feeling. I felt like this person is not for me, but at the same time, I couldn't stop talking to him. It was
Because
like glue.
your logical mind was saying no, but your heart was saying yes.
Yeah. And then one day I decided not to talk to him anymore because I said, "You are too far away." And then he said, "Please give me one chance. Please visit me in Istanbul because I'm working here." And actually, from Berlin, if you take a flight, it's
I
only
love,
2.5 hours.
yes,
Yeah,
I
and I
love
love the city.
Istanbul. I love the clubs in Istanbul. I love it. Yes.
And at that time, I was traveling around looking for a new job, right? I was in this energy to leave Germany finally. I thought maybe I
It's
can
beautiful.
just visit this beautiful and famous city for the very first time. So I asked also my brother. My brother is funny, he's an Aquarius, and he loves Berlin because this is his energy. And he is also 6 years younger than me. Now 33 years old, like my twin. So they are the same age.
Okay.
And he said, let's go to Istanbul. Let's visit the city.
And it's
And
cheap.
then,
From Berlin, it's cheap. No, it's quite cheap.
yeah, it's quite cheap. And he found, my brother is, I don't know how he makes this. He's into IT. So he found a good hotel. It was in the middle of the city, and you could see the mosque, and there was a swimming pool on top. Um, and we went in August. And I had no idea about
So
astrology, nothing.
how long had you been talking to your twin flame
I
online?
think it was 3 months.
Okay, so not long. And then you went.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So we had a trip to Istanbul, and I remember that uh, my luggage was lost, and
Oh dear.
I had to look for my luggage. And we came to the hotel, and my twin was already there, and he was talking because he speaks Turkish as well. He was speaking in the front desk. He was asking everyone, "Did you saw a couple, a young lady?" And they said no, no. And we came late to the hotel, and I then saw him in the lobby, worried, sitting there, standing there somewhere in the corner. And he came towards me, and this was the moment. And it was hot. It was August. Uh, I remember that I thought, oh my God, he feels familiar, like a family member.
Yes.
And I remember also everything stopped. I was not.
You mean time stopped, right?
Yeah, time
Yeah.
stopped. I couldn't see my brother anymore. I couldn't hear anything. So everyone was talking to me, but it was like
Everyone
frozen.
disappeared. Everyone disappeared. Yes.
Exactly. And then yeah, he was so happy to see me, and then we talked. We had a lot of beautiful pictures because my brother was with us, so he made a lot of pictures.
So your brother was happy to meet him as well, and all. Yeah.
Yes,
Okay.
and for the very first time, and I mean, I was at that time 35. Uh, my brother never saw me so happy, so confident, and also um, he liked him for the first time because I had karmics before, but my brother didn't he
Didn't
never,
like them.
yeah, engaged with these people, and this was the first time where they were talking and they liked each other, and I thought maybe it's because they are the same age. I'm older, so but I think this was just the phenomenon that we have the same frequency, my twin and me. Yeah. And then something happened. I think unfortunately, I had some shoes and somehow my foot got hurt a little bit. And he gave me a massage on my foot. And I remember all pain was gone. And also when I had a little bit shoulder pain, he took his hand on my shoulder, all pain was gone. So I realized from early on that he has healing hands.
But this is interesting. I hear with twin flames. Last week I interviewed someone, and they mentioned how they had depression, but they met their twin flame, and the depression went away. It's almost
Yeah.
like we heal each other.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And also, I had a wound, a mother wound, which I didn't know at that time because my mom is very masculine. And of course, she has been imprisoned, she has deported to Iran. Mm, most of the family members, as I said, are narcissistic. Some got killed, some are in Australia, some are in Germany, some are just having no contact with us at all. So, my mom was always a depressed woman, and she was always in her masculine energy and on a survival mode, indeed. And then I didn't know that I have a mother wound, that I adapted a lot of her negativity, her negative mindset, her scarcity mindset.
Mhm.
I didn't know that. And then when he spoke to me, he said, well, I'm an African man. I want to have a lot of children. And I was like, oh, no, no, not with me. My family's broken. My childhood was bad. I was bullied. And how can I make this? This was also the problem. My brother took me away one evening and he said, you have a problem now. And I said, why? Because he's a Nigerian and he has no German passport. He cannot visit you. And just imagine to have racism everywhere and now you have a black husband.
So he has a Turkish visa or passport.
Yes,
Okay.
he was, yeah, he had a good job there. Um, he was working with furniture. And by the way, everyone in Berlin also, they love Turkish furniture. So the furniture is very popular everywhere. Everyone orders the furniture from Istanbul, and it comes to the countries, to Europe. And he told me that even Africans love the Turkish, the Oriental style, the golden style
Design. Yeah.
furniture. That's why they ship it from there to Nigeria. But then there was the economic crisis in Turkey, and the lira dropped, and everyone from abroad had to leave because again, and in Turkey, they became racist because if you cannot afford food, you attack everyone, right? So the lira dropped so bad that he had to leave the country, and he had also to leave his apartment, which was a nice apartment. He had to leave everything, even his clothes.
And he went to Nigeria.
Yeah, he went back and he was devastated. By the way, this was before something happened to me. I came back from Istanbul and my sister was married with a Lebanese who's actually also in the same age like my twin flame. All are in the exact same age. So they are the three most important men in my life because I liked my brother in law a lot. I was like a sister for him. We also lived together because I moved from Frankfurt, where I started my studies, to Berlin to make my master's there. And he allowed me as my brother in law to live with him and my sister. And my sister asked me for permission if she can have a third child, because she knew that I'm, as an auntie, always take care of them, the children. And my brother-in-law respected me a lot. Somehow something happened, something weird. One night, after 1 month after I came back from Istanbul, actually, I was going to tell my family I found someone I love. He died. He passed away,
Who?
just like that. My brother-in-law.
Your
He just fell
brother-in-law.
down, and yeah, in a cafe, and he died in front of the people. And yeah, there were helicopters and everything.
It was
It
due
was
to
terrible.
it was due to COVID, or
Maybe it can be this, or now, since I'm spiritual, I asked my spirit team. They told me that a lot of young people will just leave the earth because their soul contract is going to end.
it's
It's
finished.
go- yeah, it's finished. So yeah, and at that night something weird also happened. I couldn't sleep, and then in the morning, it was 3 o'clock in the morning. I woke up by myself, and then I saw it was the ghost hour. Actually, this is 3 a.m. to 4 a.m. And this is where he died. Was the hour when he died. And my sister called me, come here, come here. And when I went with a taxi to my sister, I just knew. I just knew he's not no more. And he also came to my apartment and said goodbye. But that's why maybe I couldn't sleep. And yeah, and this was terrible. This was the most traumatic experience. I had to tell his sons in the
And this
morning,
was
your
this
father
was
passed away.
this was before you were going to tell your family about your twin
Yeah,
flame.
yeah, and this was before he had to leave Istanbul. So this is a very, very famous story about twin flames, right? As soon as they meet, everything collapses.
Yes.
And it's so terrible because I was so in pain. I was crying a lot. I was overwhelmed. I was in shock for my sister because she's only 1 year older than me. She had a 3-year-old baby boy. And I couldn't tell them, your father is no more. He will not never come back. They were were all traumatized. And at the same time, I knew I'm in love with someone I cannot forget, and I want him in my life. So this was the circumstances at that time. And after that, I remember I fell into a very um like they say, dark night of the soul. This was my first dark night of the soul. It was in my apartment, and I was so sad. I didn't. I refused to go out. I refused to eat. And then, of course, I lost my job. Then I was on social welfare. Yes,
This is
I
what
was on social.
happens after meeting twin flame. The kundalini starts to awaken, and
Ah,
everything
yes,
falls apart.
exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, the Kundalini. I had no idea because I had never experienced uh, something outside of Islam. Like
Yeah.
no yoga, no
Yeah, it's all in Hinduism,
nothing.
isn't it? Divine feminine, divine masculine, Kundalini, Shiva Shakti. It's a lot of it's in
Yes,
Indian religion. Yeah.
I just remembered that I once had a Punjabi friend, and she told me about Shiva and Shakti, and she told me that in the Punjabi tradition, it's not well seen or not allowed even to divorce because they say that life is all about.
Seven lives together, seven lifetimes.
Yes,
You're married for
exactly.
7 lifetimes. But with a twin flame, you're married for eternity.
Yeah, that's true. And this was weird. Now I have to tell you, the signs came up. First of all, I found this book in English in my mail by my neighbor. She was from London, and it is Meet Me in Hard to Love Places. And then there is a labyrinth with a heart.
Mm.
And this guy who wrote this, he's also mentioning twin flames, and also my favorite. I call him my guru or my scholar, Rumi, the Persian, yeah, uh, philosopher. And he said a very nice poem, which I can read in the end if you like. And I was also reading a lot of Sufi mystic, because this is from, this is
Yes,
the direction
yes.
from Islam. Yeah,
It's about
the
connecting
mystic
with God.
direction.
Yeah.
Yeah, or the mystic school of Islam. So I was wondering on this book. And then later on, I saw a photo of Cleopatra from Egypt, yeah, with her secret lover. And then I wrote, I read, I was reading the story about her, and her secret lover was obviously African,
Hmm.
and she was not. She's Macedonian. She's Greek, from Greek descent.
Hmm.
So I was like, this is funny. She looks like me, and he looks like my twin.
Hmm.
And then these pictures always popped up everywhere, and I saw literally my twin everywhere, everywhere.
Were you still
And
talking? Were you still talking with him?
yes, he now lives in Birmingham. He moved from Nigeria to
Okay,
Birmingham,
so he
and
lives
he's now
he lives in my city in the UK.
yeah. And he's very ambitious. And
And
the thing was,
shall I tell you a little bit about Birmingham? Okay, so Birmingham
yeah,
is 50% people of color, right? So 50% of the
mm,
city is not white. So it's very diverse, okay? It's like London is obviously more busier, I guess. It's less busy. And we have 60% of the population is under the age of 30. And it's a very diverse. There's nature here as well. And yeah, so you should come visit. Have you been?
I should, because I looked up in my astrocartography, and it says that uh, Birmingham is on my Jupiter line, which is excellent for work, for love, for everything.
It's very good
And
energy here as well. We've got a quartz grid underneath. It's a very safe place, especially for twin flames. The energy is very relaxing and calm here, and people are nice. Yes.
so this is also a thing. When I told him, let's get married in Germany first, and then we can look for another place to move, he said, I will never come to Germany. I don't like Germany. My father has been in Germany. Uh, the Germany is not my style. I will not ever put my foot on German ground. And so I thought, this is, by the way, because some people told me that he could be a Roman scammer, and he could um, he could just content. He could try to find a woman from Germany to have a passport. Someone told me that, and also I had the same comment when I was at the court in Berlin.
So people were
The
trying
woman
to
told
say
me
to
the
you
same.
that, oh, he's after your passport, but he's not after your
Yeah,
passport.
no, he doesn't want to come to Germany, and he never was interested. He he did everything by his own, and now he's in England. So he was never interested in having a German passport. And this was really a shock when I was in the court in Berlin. The woman was in my age. She was sitting next to me, and she looked up our documents. He had also a lot of
So
legal good
why
documents.
were you in the court? You trying to get his
Yeah, to get
visa?
married.
Are you trying to get
Yeah,
married?
to get
Okay.
married without even knowing, without my family knowing, because I told them, and they told me that they will they will not be able to help me because they're in grief, and so I can do what I like. And I also saw that my father was disappointed, very disappointed. And at this point, because I'm turning 40 this year, he was like, okay, this woman, she just forget her about her,
No hope.
because
No hope for this woman.
yeah, she's, and because of my indigo nature, right? I don't like authority. I'm always doing my own thing. So the woman in the court said, "Do you know this guy? Because Nigeria is listed as number 2 after Pakistanis. No, number 2 on our Roman scamming list, and we will not allow you to get married to him. We will not give you the singlehood certificate. So that's why you can take a lawyer by now." And I know how expensive this is, because you have to send someone from the Nigerian government to his village, that they look up there in their court if he's married or if he has kids. And you
Okay.
have to pay everything. The process is minimum 1 year.
So during this time, did you have any separation, running, chasing, or it's been
Yeah.
quite? Oh, you did also.
Yes, it was very hard. He was first the runner and the chaser. He told me, "No problem, baby, we go and to Denmark. Let me go to the embassy of Denmark." So he took all the documents and he went to the embassy of Denmark when he was in Istanbul. They also uh, didn't give us green light because it was in the middle of pandemic. You also needed to be vaccinated and all of that. Yeah, it was chaos.
Yeah.
Then he said, "Okay, I give up. So we have to, yeah, leave it like that." And then I remember that he went back to Nigeria and he was gone. I had no contact with him anymore, and I was the chaser in this moment. I couldn't leave him alone. And then,
In that time, did you have any dreams, signs, synchronicities, visions of the future, past?
yes, a lot, a lot. And I remember it was very uncomfortable because I remember that I moved to my brother's apartment first. He allowed me that since we have a good relationship. He helped me also uh, to recover, and and then I moved to my parents, back to my hometown. They have a house, that's why I lived in the house. And I remember I was waking up every night in the ghost hour, every night, every single night. And I saw myself, and I have this in the background. I saw myself in a forest, lost, running around. It was so terrible. And sometimes a dog, a black dog, was sitting next to me. And I was so scared. And I thought, what is this? Now I'm going insane. Now this is it. I need to find a good psychologist because now I have trauma or something. And then I heard a voice in my ear calling me, Jilin, Jilin, Jilin. And I looked up the word, and the word is Chinese Mandarin. It means if something like I looked up, and it was a forest in China, exactly where I was running around, a forest in China, which name is Jilin, and this is actually a very beautiful place. A lot of tourists go there. It has a temple, and it's one of in Sanskrit. It's also one of the names of Shiva. Shiva is has a lot of different meanings, right?
Hmm.
So he's the destroyer, but also the rebuilder, and he brings luck also. So it's actually a very lucky name. And then I choose it as a spiritual name for myself. And then I started social media, and then I saw my TikTok account became bigger and bigger and bigger, and more twin flames met each other since I think 2020.
So
And
what's the name of your social media account? And on your account, what do? You do psychic readings or?
yeah, I do normal coachings. You can just approach me with a lot of different topics. For example, mother wound, father wound, because I went into healing, right? And I think now it makes totally sense. We have been thrown into the into the ocean to rescue ourselves first, and now we can rescue others. And now we are sitting in the boat and we can help others. And this is all divinely orchestrated.
And also the fact that you had done all your qualifications before. So you
Yeah.
like I find that Divine Feminines, like I had years and years of many courses I've done, and it all makes sense why I was doing and what for. So you do coaching for loads of different things: inner child, mother wound, father wound,
Yes.
and then you also do psychic readings, tarot readings, or
Yeah, I taught myself um, the Western astrology, the numerology, and also um, I was always a fan of Istanbul, and they have these Makkah ground readings, right? So I taught myself the symbols. It's 350 symbols, It's the same symbols you can use also for dream. If someone tells you a dream, you can have the same symbols. You can explain them. And then it happened. This was very scary for me at first. I saw a movie in my third eye. I saw like what happened to this person, if when the person was asking me, is he going to marry me or not? I saw everything. And also this Maka reading was helping me because I could see that symbols, a little man, a little ring, doves and flowers, and that's why you could really predict, yes, indeed, there is something with a marriage topic in your cup. So I started to make Maka readings, and now I have all of the people are coming back. And they're saying, yes, you were right. A lot of things you
So
predicted happened, actually.
you read, you said mocha readings. You mean like the tea leaf reading or
Yeah,
the drink,
the coffee
the
ground
coffee
readings.
grounds?
Yeah,
Okay. And you know, you said you had your spiritual awakening. When did that happen? Was that before twin flame or after?
absolutely.
After you.
After I've met my twin flame, yes.
And before that, you were religious or atheist, or
I was a Muslim, a practicing Muslim.
and now you are Muslim or spiritual or
I think every religion, also Christianity, also Hinduism and Buddhism, is everything has the truth
merit.
hidden.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, but it's really hard from this 3D mind to understand what the book is actually telling us, to be united, to be brothers and sisters,
And how they
to
all connect as well. They all
it's
connect.
interconnected, yes.
Hmm.
And also, since the synchronicities have started, people notice, even not non-spiritual people, they notice when they think about something, it happens. Or they see the number, the angel numbers, right? The angel numbers are almost everywhere. When I had my first clients, my bank account was always angel numbers, angel numbers. And I remember also I went into a store here in my city. I was shopping on Christmas, and I saw my old chef. This is also something what people should notice. I saw my old chef when I was a student. I was working in this store. He said, "Oh my God, this 10 years now that didn't saw you. How are you doing?" And he offered me to work in his store. And at that day, when I went inside to give my documents, I saw a dead dove, right? A bird outside the door. And I was like, oh, this is a bad omen. Because I'm psychic now, right? I said, oh, this is a bad omen. Then I went inside, and the woman was nice. But now a lot of doors are going to close by this year, because we have also in Germany here problems in the economy.
Are you able to read if someone is a twin flame or not?
Yes.
So you
Do you
can.
know why? Because the divine feminines are talking like me. They have a very nice voice. They are calm. They are not, um, let's say, they're not in the ego anymore. The ego, the ego just,
This is, but
now
this.
I'm saying Igbo because my twin flame is an Igbo from an Igbo tribe.
Okay.
Um, the ego destruction happened when he
But
heard
in the
when yeah
beginning, the divine feminine is distorted and obsessive and controlling and angry. And in that
yeah
place, have their voice is not good. But only after the healing and journey, then you become in your divine self, which is twin flames, you know, peaceful, loving,
yes.
balanced, non judgmental. So,
You
what,
know,
yeah.
you can leave a karmic so easily, even though if you're attached, even though if he's good looking, even though he's rich, you can leave these people like, yeah, after a few months. But the twin flame journey, it goes 3 years, and you cannot forget this person. And
So, what advice or tips do you give to people who are going through? Because everyone's on a different part of the journey, right? Some people
yes,
are in the bubble, some people are in the obsession, some people are in the dark night, some people are in surrender, some people are in bliss state. And there's so many different, you do 5D coaching, right? So 3D is the dimensions, right? So the 3D is the physical world where the divine masculine is usually. Then 4D is the bridge, and 5D is more of that state of oneness and peace and love. And 3D is more duality and separation. So, what
Mm.
advice do you give to anyone watching?
To watch your content on TikTok because your content is excellent. I saw your content and I thought, okay, this is how a person should do twin flame content because you go into the details, and this is what the people also write in your comments. You go into the details because this process is really hard to understand, and it needs a lot of patience, and you have to, yeah, to explain it over and over again. And there's also a phenomena. When I started, there were some other twin flame coaches speaking in German about twin flames. Now they're disappearing because they say, "Oh, I'm not in the union, so I skip my content. I now do spiritual content only, or I'm just, you know, they leave the twin flame path." And I was wondering, maybe you can share your ideas why this is happening right now. But I believe there is a shift happen. A shift happened since Pluto is in Aquarius. This big shift in the energy has again changed us a lot, and I believe for some who are patiently on this way of healing themselves, uh, you have to surrender, and you have to leave the ego beside to make it quiet, as Eckhart Tolle says. I'm also I think Eckhart Tolle is a great teacher for the 5D because he said once the ego is a disease, and that's true. If you're an educationalist and you see that children have no ego, and then after they, when they go out of the purity into, becoming teenagers, they start to have an ego, and then they fight with their parents, right? And so the ego is not in our nature, actually, as a human being. It is a construct, a programming. And if you can just get rid of the ego, or let's say we cannot because it's very hard, but we can at least, put it on mute. Then, and we follow our hearts. Then I think the union is near. Because I think, as you said, my twin flame now, he will see this content. Definitely, maybe I can send him. He's not blocked, but he is as everyone in the collective, every divine masculine now in the collective, he's he thinks he's not worthy of the union. He's doing his masters. He's working with people with autism, which I have recommended him that he is very able to be a healer. And he never knew that, right? He worked with furniture and now he's a healer. He's working with handicapped adults as well. So I think union is near because now he knows that he's a healer. And I also predicted something. I think because he's very, you know, I think Africans are in general really spiritual people by nature, but he loves to speak about God. He loves it, and who not? I mean, if you're in your ego, you don't accept to have a God or accept to believe in God's source. But I think as soon as you leave your ego beside, you know that everything is perfectly made. There must be a higher intelligence. And if you see my example that I am alive is a miracle because my parents had been in prison and they were in Iran and then they went to Syria and the Syria war broke out. So it's a miracle that I was born in Germany and that I'm now a twin flame coach. And then I I also teach the people that they have to prepare themselves. We are heading to the 5D Earth. This is the truth. And I think a lot of people don't believe that. But and slowly, even my parents, they ask me some questions and they know. that when I speak, then it's not just for fun. It's just because I feel something. And by the way, I'm a Cancer, the moon sign, and my twin is the sun sign. He's a Leo, and we met at the Lions Portal, which is the 8th
Hmm.
of August. This is funny. It's so you just have to read the signs because there were so many along the way.
So, my take with Pluto coming into Aquarius, a lot of divine feminines surrendered before New Year's, and some people are not twin flames, okay, and that's why maybe
Mm.
they're giving up on the journey or moving on or whatever. But for me, I have filmed my last content for twin flames for now, and that will last until end of April. And then from May onwards, I will not be making specific twin flame content. And the reason being is because it's a label, okay? The twin flame is a hook. When you meet your twin flame, it's a divine plan to get you to your divinity, to get to God, right?
Mm.
And the twin flame is the romantic notion or the lusty version to kind of entice you to God. Oh, look, you can come to God, but you've got this really cute guy. You go, God. And it's not about the cute guy. It's not about the cute girl. It's about God, right? So for me, I release 3 videos a day. I've done a lot. And for me, I'm also getting tired of it. And I want to get my collective or the collective in general, whoever follows, to move away from focusing just on twin flame, twin flame. That's obsession, chasing, let's focus on ourselves. Let's focus on our mission, our purpose, our manifestation, where we're going in life. Who are we? Where is you? You know? And let's talk
Mm.
about the divine. I want to interview people who are generally like spiritual. I had a shamanic healing done today for 4 hours, a beautiful healing session with cacao and various other plant medicines. And I'm going to interview people like that. And there is more to life than just the label of twin flame.
Yeah. Well, I think there are a lot of interesting topics when it comes to spirituality. So you can share everything on your platform. I also started to do YouTube because I found that TikTok got a bit. They have no. They became a bit stricter.
Yeah.
You cannot post with music and all of that, and you cannot say everything. So I had once 1 or 2 strikes already. So I've moved to YouTube, and but I'm still doing TikTok
So
content, but
what is
not
your
only about twin flames. Sometimes it's about relationships in general, or
and you
about.
know us twin flames, we have a big purpose, okay? So we get to the place of connecting with God, we're in our divinity, and if we just keep that for twin flames, which we can, but there's many people who could benefit from being in non-codependent relationships, disempowered ways of being, and distorted sexuality, distorted femininity, masculinity. There's so many things we can do. Um, but what are your social media handles? How can we find you on TikTok? What's your name and on YouTube?
It's Jillian Spiritual Coaching. And you have to be aware, of course, you have to find the account with 17,000 followers, 17K, because this is also something I didn't knew. First of all, I never wanted to be on social media and show myself to everyone because I was aware that there are scammers and that they take your profile picture and they make they scam the people with your face, with your name. So
Yeah.
that's the negative side of being on social media. But I was asking my spirit team, and my spirit team clearly said you have to, because we are now ending on the end of Kali Yuga, and we are now heading towards the Satya Yuga, right?
Yes.
So the bad people will
So that
just
means in
disappear.
the eras of the Indian mythology, where we're coming, or religion, where we're coming out of the dark ages and coming into the light. Yes.
Yes. And I've noticed that because in the beginning I was trolled like crazy. People were trolling, and I felt uncomfortable on my lives. And I had so many fake accounts with my name. And so I was a bit shocked. And also one woman attacked me also, another twin flame woman. She obviously she's not happy in her situation because she took out my content and then she attacked me also openly. So I had to,
you have to protect your energy, right? It can be
mm,
draining. I mean, how do you manage it? Like sometimes, when you're ascending as a twin flame, right, your light is getting more and more. It becomes very attractive. Like when you're out and about, I'm sure people are just drawn to you, and they want to know because you're connected to God. And then on social media, like the amount of messages and the comments, it's a lot. And especially when people are in distortion or obsession,
yes,
they kind of almost put you on a pedestal, and they see you as this guru, and they want to suck your energy
yeah,
from you, because
absolutely.
they forget that they have to go to God.
Yes, they don't know how, they can become a spiritual person, how they can heal themselves. And in the state when they are going through miserable times, they blame everyone, and they also think
Yeah,
that you're fake
yeah.
because constantly you're in a good mood, you're happy, you make your content, you're like
And
angelic
they take
being.
their aggression out. I've had some, not many, one or two twin flames who kind of want to take their frustration out on me,
Yes,
and in messages as well. And I'm like, I'm not your problem. Your ego is your problem.
this is true. I remember, and I never forget that. I have also money back. Um, you don't need to do that, but I wrote it on my website that if someone is not happy with my coachings, they can have the full refund. Yeah,
Yeah.
because I'm a professional. Yeah, but in the end, and this never happened. But one time, I remember a woman had uh, two dark nights of the soul. I also had two. It was terrible, and that's why I can feel her. And she also had a divorce with a karmic, with her husband, and he told her to leave the house and that he wants the kids, and all the drama happened.
So you empathize because you understand, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
But the thing is, everyone has another challenge. Uh, and in that case, she called me also, and she was in panic. And I felt that she has a spiritual psychosis.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she was hearing things, she heard things, she thought somebody is after her.
After her, it's a lot to
Yeah.
do. It's a lot to deal with, and you do feel like you want to kill yourself, and it's a lot for us to take on. But generally, I find true twin flames are very respectful, loving, kind people. Yes, they go obsessive in the beginning and crazy, but they calm down. They do calm down. But then you have other people who are in karmic situations or other stuff, and they're not on the twin flame, but it's
No,
okay.
absolutely.
Anyway, as we close our lovely interview, because we can go on for hours, what is your current situation with your twin flame?
The funny thing is, we overcame the runner chaser dynamic. Now we are silent, both of us. And recently, I was sending him for the very first time, and I can recommend every twin flame to do that. I have these books everywhere, and I write my downloads down. And I was, and at one night, I think it's always at 2 a.m., 3 a.m., 4 a.m. I was writing him an email, but I never sent these emails. I just collect them. And I wrote him a beautiful email, how much I love him and all the details I see. It was very romantic. And it was, I think, in November. And recently, a few weeks ago, I found this email again, and I thought, oh my God, if I don't send him this and I die tomorrow,
Yeah,
I will be always sad. Yeah, and that's why I asked him before, can I send you an email? And he said, yes, why not? And then I sent him the email, but he never answered to this day. And I think the divine masculine is overwhelmed because they think, oh
it's
my
too
God,
much. Yeah, for them, it is a lot.
yeah,
But they are waking up and they're taking their time. And I was going to wonder, like, as your closing remarks, do you want to read us the Rumi poem?
oh yes, yes. This is a very short poem. from the book, yeah, the book about relationships, in chapter 1. Your task is not to seek for love, but merely to seek and find all the barriers within yourself that you have built against it. Rumi.
Wow.
So
And this is the twin flame journey, right?
absolutely. And he also said, quote, let light through the wound. Let your
Yes.
heart break open.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But thank you very much, Jahan. It's
it was a pleasure.
been a
Maybe
beautiful
I come to
conversation.
Birmingham
I was gonna
soon.
say, you anytime you come, I'll show you around.
Oh, this is fantastic. Thank you very
Yeah,
much.
I would be more
And
than
also, if you
delighted.
want to come to Berlin, my brother is a very, very friendly person. He would like to also to meet you.
I have been going to Berlin twice a year normally because I used to live there. I have friends there. Um, but yes, I'm more than happy, and thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I know we moved that time forwards, and you accommodated very well. But yeah, I really appreciate your time and your energy, and I'm going to put all your links in the chat. So because you speak many languages, so if people, because you do have people who want coaching in different languages, so you can speak alongside many different.
Well, I'm a bit overwhelmed right now because I think the center of spirituality is in Austria and Switzerland, by the way. There are a lot of spiritual people living there. And this is the Dachraum, they call it Dachraum because the Germans speak German, right? And also in
Yeah,
Austria and Switzerland. So um, that's why I think
you have too many clients. It's too busy.
I
It's very busy for me also. It's a busy time. Um,
that's why maybe I should recommend you to do this full time, to be a coach, and then to have a, I've heard that the TikTok shop is coming soon. So this is also a good idea, maybe to have items or, do something like that, only working online. So I think it's not about the money or something, because some people say, oh, they make money. No, it's in general, this is what my spirit team told me. You have to be there for the people who are seeking for help. If you are not standing there on your platform, they will looking around and go to the false people and look for help because there were always times when we
and
had
you know what?
um,
There is so
teachers
much.
and
There's a lot of conflicting information for twin flames, and some of it is very unhelpful.
yes,
Right.
that's true.
Thank you so much. I wish you a beautiful weekend.
Thank you.
Jahan, thank you. God bless.
Thank you very much.